on the sideline for Vol Network coverage of Tennessee and Syracuse right here on the Zone tomorrow. Brent, we made it. I want to be the first, maybe not this week, but this morning to wish you a congratulations. Welcome to football season. How are we doing this morning?
I'm doing fantastic. If Ramon Foster has me somewhere tonight and he asks the bartender for something that's got a little dust on the bottle, we might not make it to kickoff in the morning, but we're going to do our best to be there, and it is exciting. It's fun. It's off seasons have certainly taken on a different tone because there's so much stuff the entire summer that camps feel a little bit different. They seem to drag on a little bit, but everybody's ready to play. We got an appetizer of it last night. We'll get a little more tonight, and then we'll get to the ball yard and go early on Saturday. Should be a lot of fun.
I love it. Well, Brent, I want to start with just a quick question on the broadcast and on you guys kind of beginning a new era of the Vol Network tomorrow, because I know a lot of people are interested in that, and it's going to be on our airwaves tomorrow. Just where's your excitement level for Mike Keith, for Ramon Foster, Jason Swain, and yourself? And fans are really going to enjoy this tomorrow, Brent, of really a new sound and in a lot of ways on and off the field, a new era of Tennessee football.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a blast. We know Mike's preparation. We know what Mike does in the booth. We know the standard that he has, and the rest of us are trying to not screw the standard up. And my job in the pregame, as I told Ramon and Jason last night, is, I'm the nerd with numbers, and my job is to serve up the beach balls to them and let them knock them out of the park, because there's the football experts. And then I'll get my feet wet on the sidelines and figure out exactly how all of that works. That'll be a new experience for me. But there's been a ton of work that has gone into making this happen tomorrow, and it'll continue to be a work in progress. It'll evolve. I mean, it's not a finished deal right out of the gates. It never has been, never will be. But they got a lot of great people, a lot of really talented people, from the engineering side to Larry Stone hosting, and all these people that are involved, that my job is not to screw it up. So we're going to do our best not to screw it up tomorrow. It should be a blast. I think fans will like it.
Yours and mine too, Hubs. Okay, just say, if you hear me say something like, "That's just Ramon," that's what we'll use. That's just Ramon.
Well, I can relate to nerd with numbers. That was my nickname in high school. Brent, as you look at Tennessee and Syracuse on the field tomorrow, difficult matchup to really evaluate, right? Because both teams are so different. Syracuse was dreadful stopping the run last year. Tennessee obviously wants to start there behind what may be a better offensive line than it was last year. Do you see that being the biggest advantage Tennessee has when it is able to run the football in this game tomorrow?
Well, I think you're banking on Tennessee being able to run the football, because that's what Tennessee does. When you look at the Josh Heupel era, 2,500 yards or more every season that he's been here. They've been good on the road. The magic number's kind of 150 yards. That's where you want to be. Tennessee, when they're on the plus side of 150 on the road, man, they're really good, and they win a lot of football games that way. They haven't lost many of those. So they've got to be able to run it effectively. But this is a complete and utter game of unknowns. You have two quarterbacks going to play in this game, and neither one of them went through spring practice with the team they're going to play for. That's just the day and age of college football we're in. That's unheard of from a few years ago. Completely revamped at the receiver position. Tennessee's got 4 new offensive linemen starting on their offensive line. So does Syracuse. Tennessee's got a couple of high school kids that they've recruited, David Sanders and Jesse Perry, who are going to be the lineup. Syracuse has got 4 transfers. And then for Syracuse, I think the question is, what kind of growth do they make defensively from year 1 to year 2? Their whole deal last year was that they played a little bit like a MAC team, just tried to outscore everybody. They wanted every game to finish 38-35. That was their best chance to win, is they had to get near the 40-point plateau because they gave up 30 points a game. Are they better defensively in year 2? And then what wrinkles do both teams have tomorrow? I mean, if you watched games last night, you had some teams with some slow starts. That's kind of a given. You're hoping that you're not that type of team. And you got some quirky stuff that happens. You're just hoping you get settled in and get comfortable if you're Tennessee.
Brent Hubbs was the VolQuest's on 3 this morning, discussing Vols and upcoming weekend. Hubbs, with that being said, too, man, you got to always think of the threat of the opposing team. What is something that Syracuse could do that could throw the Vols off? Something not self-inflicted from the Vols.
Well, I think that it's what new wrinkles, or how do they approach the passing game? What do they do at the slot receiver spot? they lost Pena, the big play or the most productive receiver for them. He went to Penn State, kind of up and left him in the spring. But they bring in the Cook kid from Texas who has a world of talent. What do they do with him? They've supposedly moving him around everywhere. How do they work this revamped receiving core against a Tennessee secondary that is not what you thought it was going to be personnel-wise to, coming out of the Ohio State game last year? You felt like you got 4 starters coming back, and that's not the case because Jermon McCoy is not going to play with that torn ACL, and I don't think Boo Carter is going to start at the star position. I think that's going to be Jalen McMurray. So I think you want your secondary to get settled in because Syracuse may come out and throw it 45 times a game, and that's what they did a year ago. I don't think they're going to be able to line up and run it, but they got a 235-pound tailback. Maybe they commit to trying to run it more than they did a year ago. I think the big play threat, you just don't want to give up cheapies, Ramon, and that's the thing that jumps out. They've had a couple speedy receivers. You don't want to give up anything cheap in the back end. And Tennessee was good at that last year defensively. They made teams work for it. I think those are your fears in game one. It's just a complete and utter bust somewhere back there, and somebody gets a walk-in. You don't want to give one of those up particularly early.
When you look at this group and this establishment of wide receivers, right? Like Mike Matthews gotta go get it. Braylon Staley gotta go get it. The tight ends gotta show up. But I bring that up to ask this question because Syracuse is very high on their. Listen to me real quick, Hubs. 17-year-old freshman, too. Okay?
A reclassified 17-year-old freshman, by the way. He graduated a year early to go to college.
And that's what Demetrius Samuels Jr. is the name, right? If I'm not mistaken. Do you pick on him? Is that something you do with Mike Matthews, like a point in this game to where, look, you're supposed to be a senior getting ready for prom and whatnot right now. Is this something that you would attempt to do going into this weekend?
Well, we don't know how any young player is going to react to being under the lights. I mean, you remember the first time you dressed and played. I mean, like, wait a minute, what are we here at? Now you're talking about a 17-year-old doing that. A guy should be playing high school football on a Friday night. Tennessee's got some freshmen that are going to play a lot of snaps in this game. So, yeah, I mean, I think anytime you see that, you think, I'm going to go at them. I mean, the corner on the other side of that tandem for Syracuse is a Georgia transfer. Wow. Hadn't played a ton, but he's been in a program at Georgia. He's been on the sideline. You think he's played special teams. You think he's got a feel for it. Here's a guy who's, I mean, for lack of better words, is fresh meat. I think you're going to go at him early and see if you can make something happen. Now, he's 6'1", 185. It's not like he's a little guy out there. But can you do some things to him? Can you double move him? Can you do some stuff from a schematic standpoint that gets him out of position? I think you absolutely test a guy like that early.
Is this also where pace can throw him off? Like, I've heard the rumors. I feel like we're expecting the up-tempo. This is where you take advantage of him, especially in game one, Hubs.
If you can, and now to do that, you got to make that first down. You got to win. You got to win some on first down. But yeah, the pace is what's fascinating about the pace is it's not just this constant every play type deal. It's what can do it in spots. It's when you get a 20-yard gain and then you can sprint to the ball and get started. South Florida did that fantastically last night and really wore Boise State out. So it's when you want to go fast, can you go as fast as you want to go? Is your operation where it needs to be that you can go as fast as you want to when the moment hits to go fast? And that's what Tennessee, I think, is optimistic and hoping for. But what other wrinkles does Tennessee have in this game? Are there some tweaks? We've heard about tweaks the entire offseason. What do those look like? That's what I get to with the game of unknowns. I mean, is Syracuse going to line up spread out, or are they going to line up in a tight formation and try to run the football at you? There's a lot of feeling out in the first quarter of these games. I think of a couple of different occasions in openers where Josh Heupel has said after the game, yeah, they did some things differently structure-wise defensively than what they had shown on tape. Lots of teams in the offseason put in something they think will work, and you have to adapt and you have to adjust to it. The team that adapts the quickest seizes the momentum in the game. And the question is, offensively, can Tennessee adapt as fast as they need to with young players? On the flip side, defensively, you feel like they should be able to adapt, Ramon, with Jeremiah Thielander and Arion Carter, some more veteran guys up front. Ricky Gibson, Andre Turntine. You feel like they could adapt on the fly. Offensively, with the youth they're playing, how quick can they adapt? And then I think the other thing to watch in this is that defensive front of Tennessee. What kind of games do they try to play against an offensive line that has 4 guys who are learning a brand new system that were playing in a different college system back last December? How much is their continuity as all new guys, and can Tennessee take advantage of that with some schematic things up front with their defensive front?
Right.
Brent Hubbs of VolQuest's on 3, our guests this morning on Ramon and Will. Brent, where is the health of this wide receiver room going into this game with Chris Brazzell, Mike Matthews, and Braylon Staley all being sidelined at some points of fall camp? Are those guys each 100% at this point?
If nobody trips going to the bus today, I think they're going to be good to go.
Perfect.
They have practiced all week. That's the positive. For about the last 10 days, 12 days, they've all been on the field together after missing the first 2 weeks. After not being together, I should say, for the first 2 weeks for various guys missing. They have practiced a good bit together here the last week and a half, which I think is good for Joey Aguilar. I think it's good for this offense and continuity. And it looks like and feels like everybody should be good to go tomorrow. And hopefully that track will be plenty fast, and this wide receiver core can kind of get going and answer some questions. Because, let's face it, when Tennessee goes on offense, no offense to Deshaun Bishop, no offense to the tight ends, everybody's watching to see if these wide receivers can get open and this passing game can get going.
Brent, when you talk about Joey Aguilar and just Josh Heupel having a gunslinger quarterback, and I know it's the question we've talked about with you all offseason, and I partly ask it again just because so many people are kind of locking back in right today and getting ready for the season again. But how does Josh Heupel manage a turnover-prone quarterback at Appalachian State? Does this offense for you take away some of the decision issues that Joey made at App State just on the basis of wide receivers on a lot of choice routes, making a lot of those choices for him? How does Josh Heupel manage this, Brent? And how do you think Joey Aguilar functions this season in this offense?
Well, I think he's going to get better as he goes along. Okay, he was better from scrimmage 1 to scrimmage 2. He got better in scrimmage 2, got a better understanding and a better feel for things. I think that you can simplify some stuff, right? And you can half read it, half field it and kind of limit some of the progression if you feel like you need to. You can get him out and get him on the move. You can give him some RPO stuff. If I'm Joey Halsley and I'm Josh Heupel, this week I have sat down and we've gone through a bunch of film with Joey Aguilar, and I keep coming back to this question to him. What are you most comfortable with right now? And Joey Aguilar, you better be honest. Like, what do you like? Because I'm building out a script to start the game. Tennessee scripts, not the whole first quarter, but they script a good bit of the start of the game. So I want to go with, what do you like? What are you comfortable with? Let's start there and then build moving forward in this offense. And I think that's how you help Joey Aguilar as much as you can. Now, when you go tempo, you can't do a lot of the check with me stuff. You can't get in the microphone and pull the Kevin O'Connell and tell everybody, hey, watch the safety here, and do the things that we've seen on that all the NFL coordinators are doing that you can do in college now. You can simplify it, particularly if you go slower. If you're going tempo, it's a little bit harder. But you can communicate. You can give them some ID stuff, some heads-up stuff to help them see the field a little bit better. What you don't want to do, in my opinion, Will, is you don't want to handcuff him. You don't want to spend all your time talking about don't take chances, don't be risky, don't play your game. We got to do this. You got to be that. I mean, he's got to play his style of football. You brought him here. You knew exactly what you were getting. You saw the tape. You're not going to harness that completely. He's going to let it rip some. There'll be a mistake there along the way. I just don't think you can get him so mentally overloaded that he's got some paralysis and he's afraid to throw the football. You got to get it out of your hands, make quick decisions, and go play.
No doubt. Hubs, Will and I both have something in our hand, and we're going to make a jingle real quick, okay?
Oh, no, this sounds dangerous.
Those are keys. How Hubs, talking about Tristan Keys.
Hopefully we're doing that in the fourth quarter tomorrow, too. But anyway, continue.
Seriously. I guess a couple things. How did this come about? Was it solely Adidas? Was it the relationships at the University of Tennessee? And thinking about next year when he enrolls, why is this flip so important to this offense, too?
Well, let's start with his game, okay? He's got great speed. He's got great size. He's got great body control, good hands. He is a wide receiver. He is not an athlete learning to play wide receiver. He is a wide receiver. I think that helps your transition. I think he's a guy who can come in and make a quick impact as a midterm enrollee because of all the attributes that he has about his game. From a recruiting standpoint, yeah, I mean, the Adidas thing is there, and I don't think you discount the Adidas thing, but I think it's a really injustice to say, and I know people around the country, LSU folks and everybody else is just going to say it was all Adidas and NIL bought and everything was through Adidas. That's unfair to Kelsey Pope. That's unfair to the work Tennessee put in with their collective, with Kelsey and the relationships they built. That's unfair to Faison Brandon. I mean, Tennessee's been in this one the whole time. Now, he stunned everybody and surprised everybody when he upped and committed to LSU on an unofficial visit. His mom was surprised he committed to LSU on an unofficial visit. He got caught up in the moment. Tennessee never stopped, and that's where Kelsey Pope and everybody should deserve credit. They didn't go, okay, well, we're done there, and then all of a sudden there's an Adidas deal. Oh, okay, we can get him now. That's not how this worked. They got him on campus multiple times. Kelsey Pope talked to him every chance he could. Every week he could have a conversation. Faison Brandon worked the heck out of him and recruited him. So those guys deserve credit. Adidas, listen, it's the NIL world. And if we sit here and say NIL wasn't a factor for a 5-star, we're all lying, okay? Let's be real here. But I don't think it's a complete fair thing to say that this was just some straight apparel deal. It factored in, but you got to give Kelsey Pope and some Tennessee guys credit for the work that they put in over the last 8 months, 9 months, recruiting this guy because they stayed in it with their relationships. And then you hope Adidas helped you get across the finish line.
Brent, real quick, one more for you on the way out. It's incredible to me that a guy who's been committed to a school is going to announce a decision on Monday. Wild. But anyway, Auburn commitment, Hezekiah Harris, a high 4-star edge rusher, going to announce a decision on Monday. Tennessee in the mix. How good of feelings do you think the staff has about that one?
They're definitely in it. Coach Chop has never, again, stopped recruiting. I think that's what we're learning. I mean, you look at the flips that are happening around the country. The last thing you can do when a kid goes to a different school on you is lose your mind on him and, just sever a relationship because – listen, man, these guys, when they commit in the spring, it's a long time to December. You just keep chopping the wood and see what happens. And Tennessee's in that one. I mean, you look at it and say, well, if he's going to re-announce a commitment, he's got to be flipping somewhere, right, is what you think. I don't know that that's the case because we don't always understand why guys do what they do in the recruiting process in terms of announcements. But, I mean, Tennessee's been in pretty good conversation with him. They've positioned themselves that they've been in it the whole time. Auburn's obviously struggling. You're trying to make some hay with that. So I'm not saying he's coming to Tennessee because he's not let a coach or school know anything about a final decision. But I will certainly be tuned in on Monday to see what happens because, again, I don't think Auburn feels great, but they don't know anything. I don't think Tennessee feels great because they don't know anything at this point. So what's he doing on Monday? I don't know. Get your popcorn ready. We'll all find out together, I guess, because I don't think he's going to tell anybody between now and Monday.
I didn't realize Jeremiah Smith is also an Adidas athlete.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, listen, Adidas has really, and this is part of the attraction that Tennessee had with Adidas, is it wasn't just the financials. It's Adidas's commitment to the college athlete through the NIL world. Ambassadors, they call them. They're grassroots. It's not just basketball for them anymore. It's football. They are invested on a national level with national recruits out there. And not all of them go to Adidas schools. There's some that are at playing at Nike schools that are Adidas athletes. And Adidas will handpick a few of those. They obviously want to build around schools where they are the apparel provider. But when they see a young guy that they think can be a face for them, that they may be able to use them as their face throughout their entire NFL career, Adidas is jumping on that. Travis Hunter, Patrick Mahomes. Now, Patrick Mahomes wasn't that way in college. Jeremiah Smith, as you mentioned. So that they are very aware, conscientious, and very organized in what they're doing in the high school and college ranks with their NIL program.
We will have our popcorn ready for the Vol Network coverage of Tennessee and Syracuse tomorrow. VolQuest's Brent Hubbs joins us every Friday. He will be on the call along with Mike Keith, Ramon Foster, Jason Swain. Hubbs, we're excited. Football is all the way back. I can't wait. Appreciate the time as always.
See you tonight.
Thanks,
Hubbs.
guys. Appreciate it. I'll see you this evening, Ramon.
All right. Love it. Brent Hubbs with us here this morning, brought to you by Ascend Federal Credit Union, your financial partner for every stage of life.